Hello and welcome to another series that I'm planning to do, which will focus on effects requests. So if you are struggling with an effect or you've seen an effect and you want to try and replicate it, but you're not quite sure how to go about it, you can ask the question on Facebook or in the forum or on the comments of these videos, and I'll do my best to kind of build these effects and explain how I've done them and hopefully help you out. So the first effect I've got for this series was a question on Facebook, and it was asked how to make this kind of effect where we have a pan wave and a kind of intensity stab over the top of it. So there are a couple ways to achieve this. I'm going to first show you a simple way involving some manual groups and an effect running in a Q list, and then I'll show you kind of an all-in-one way if you want to just have this effect fire straight away on a button, and then I'll show you a way to kind of split it up into two separate Q lists so you can then introduce one over the top if you wish. So first things first, make a new Q, and we will call this Q pan wave. Give it a time of 0. We're going to select the fixtures that we want and use highlight to see where they are. Now in the video, it seemed that they were kind of up and above the audience, so we're going to kind of do the same. We just zoom them in a little bit as well. We're going to go to our Smart Effects tab, click New Effect. We're going to make a wave effect, go to Position, hit OK. Then we're going to go over to our tilt shape, and then in rotation, we're going to select 90 degrees to flip it to a pan wave. And then from here, we're going to just increase the size of our pan wave a little bit, make sure the speed is okay. You can assign a master to this as well if you want to assign an effects master, so you can have control of the speed of this, or you can have it at a fixed speed like I'm going to do here. We're going to go to sequence. In the video it seemed to be quite a random effect, so we're going to do that now. We're going to go to random, make sure it's a random selection, and click Update Selection. Now once we're happy with that, we're going to hit Close. We're going to call this Pan Wave, and then we're going to put it on the S1. Just going to release everything. Just show you, so it's now on the S1, so if we hit Go, we've got it there. Now I can release that. So the other thing I'm going to do is right click. I'm going to go to QList Properties. I'm going to make this all features, and I want to make it an auto play and release. And this is simply because I'm going to change the release time to 0 as well. And this is just for playing back for this example. You don't have to do this. You can play it back in kind of any way that you want. But just to show you what that will do, if I push the fader up, it'll play the effect. And if I pull the fader down, it will release the effect. So this might be useful for you as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is create two groups. So I'm going to go to my custom sorts. I'm going to select odd and even, and then I'm going to select my group of lights that I want. I'm going to get a group quick picker up. Now I'm going to use the right and left arrow keys, or the right and left arrow keys on the S1. And I'm going to hit right, and it will select half of my lights, and if I hit it again, it will select the other half of my lights. If I hit both of these arrows together, it will give me my group back. So I'm going to select the first group of lights, hold down my yellow modifier key, tap in my group quick picker, and call this spots odd. Then I'm going to tap again, do the same process and create spots even. Then we're going to just drag those groups onto two playbacks. Spots odd, spots even. We're going to stop highlighting now. We're going to clear live. And now I've got odd lights and even lights on faders and flash keys. And this is actually how I suspect that this was being played back. So now if I bring both of these groups up, if I hit go on my pan wave, I can now take both of these groups out and simply tap along to the beat of the music, creating this kind of pan wave with some manual odd and even over the top. So this is one way to achieve it. Another way is to have all of this kind of together. So if we edit our pan wave cue list, so I'm going to hold down yellow and then hit the select button to quickly bring up my editing tab. What we can do is we can simply add an intensity effect that kind of replicates that now over the top. So I'm going to select the lights, go to my Smart Effects tab, go to New Effect. We can make this using a wave effect. So we're going to go to Intensity, hit OK. It's quite snappy, so we're going to make it a square wave. And as you can see, because my custom sorts is already set to odd and even, that custom sort automatically applies to my sequence. As you can see here, we've got a repeat of 2. I'm going to change my overlap to 50%, just to make it a little bit more snappy. And now simply using my tap time and changing this to per fixture. Now as I tap, we get a similar, if not identical effect of an odd and even chase over the top of our position. And we can play with this further, so we can take the overlap to 0 and we get more of an on and off snap. Like I said, put this in per fixture if you want each bump to be in time with each tap of your tap rate. Changing it to per cycle will go through the whole effect for every tap rate. So we want this per fixture. And you can change the repeats up as well. So if I add a repeat of 3, it will go over 3 groups of lights within this effect. And this will change the number of lights that are on in each beat. So if you want less lights on, increase the group. So if I go to 4, we get 3 lights on every time. If I go back to 2, we get half and half. So it's really up to you kind of how you want this to play back, of course. These are just some options. I encourage you to sit down and kind of play with this kind of stuff. But now if I take my fader down and release this, you'll see that now this is all captured in one. As soon as I move this fader up or play this cue, there we go. It all fires together. So the last option for this is to make 2 different cues. So what we're going to do is I'm quickly just going to stop the intensity effect. So we keep our original pan effect, and I'm going to close this and save. I'm going to make a new cue list, and we'll call this odd and even. Make it a snap time again. Select our lights, hit new effect, create the same type of effect again, so make it snappy, make it per fixture, go to sequence, we'll make it 50%, per fixture, and then we can tap right now, get it to kind of the speed that we want. Again, you can add an effects master to this as well. So if you want your position speed and your intensity speed to be different, I encourage you to use effects masters for this. What we can do now is close this, call it odd and even, put it on another playback. And again, we can make this one similar, so we'll make the release timing 0, go to options, make it intensity only. You don't actually have to add any other features into this, and we'll make it an autoplay and release and hit OK. And then what we can do is if we bring down both of them, you'll see that if I now bring up my intensity, I can fade in this effect, so I can have this effect running very low, or I can run it at full percentage, and the same thing with my pan wave. So as you can see, I can bring pan wave down, or I can bring it up. So these are a few ways that you can create this look. So you can do it with groups, like I said, and again you can fade them in on groups, have half and half fading in manually, or snap them in, or you can have it happening all together, or you can have it happening in two separate lists. So feel free to kind of split this effect up in any way you want, but this is how to create it, so it's kind of up to you how you want to play it back. Hopefully this answers your question. Like I said, I'm planning to make this kind of like another playlist, so if you have any more effects questions, feel free to put them in the comments of this, or on Facebook, or on the forum, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks very much for watching.